listening to Coffee with Kenobi. You are the podcast you're looking for. This is...
Hello and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, show number 90, your spoiler-free place for Star Wars discussion, analysis, and rhetoric. I'm your host, Dan Z, here live for Star Wars Reads Day 2017. We're here to make sure that you enjoy this day. It's an amazing day, Star Wars Reads Day. We're promoting literacy, we're promoting WCHS, we're promoting this guy for making all this happen. So on today's show, we're going to celebrate the power of literacy and showcase how Star Wars does just that. I'm going to talk with a number of guests today, including your CWK newsman, Tom Gross, who's also coordinating the event. We also have Zak Kalina here, the owner of the official comic book store of Coffee with Kenobi, Zeke's Comics and Games. Tom's daughter Kayleigh is going to do a demonstration of DK's new book, Star Wars Coding Projects, and we're going to do some Star Wars trivia and giveaways. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite coffee mug, and let's have some Coffee with Kenobi. All right, we're going to start this show by bringing on our aforementioned CWK newsman, Tom Gross. Tom, boy, you're a mainstay, aren't you?
Well, you know, we're having a good old time here at Star Wars Reads Day event, and great turnout for this event. We're giving away some great prizes. We have Blue Ribbon Book Sale here to fill those home libraries. We've got scratch coding with the DK Star Wars coding book. J.M. Hunter, artist, cartoonist, is here doing caricatures. Did you see earlier, Dan, we had the WCHS football team member Will Crouch reading to kids. We had the WCHS varsity basketball team here. We'll have other members from a couple of the other sports teams here as well. And we're just having a great time celebrating reading, celebrating a great story of Star Wars.
That's right. So speaking of great stories, DK has sent us a book called Star Wars Coding Projects, and we have our special CWK correspondent, Kayleigh Gross here. Hi, Kayleigh.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit. The book is called Star Wars Coding. Now, when I first got this, I thought, this looks great. I have no idea how to do this. I don't know what's going on. But luckily, there are people here much smarter than me who can take care of that. So Tom's daughter, Kayleigh, has graciously offered. And you already are on show number 89, and you guys talked about it. What is this coding book about?
It's about how to code, and it includes Star Wars characters in the coding. So you, code games or, activities, sort of. And some of them you include Star Wars characters with, but then some of them you don't.
Oh, cool. So have you done any coding before you got this book?
Yes, I have. I've done a Lego League with Mindstorm, and then at school I've done Tinker and some other websites like that.
That's really cool. So what we're going to do now is Kayleigh's going to do a live demonstration. She's going to get some stuff set up, right? So when you are all set, let me know, and we will take a look at it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So while that is going on, well, hello there. It's Elizabeth and Mason's there. Hi, guys. Would you like to come on the show now, or would you like to wait? You want to come on now? Okay, come on up, Elizabeth. I think she's excited to come on the show.
Here you go. Come on.
So this is my niece, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, say hi.
Hello.
So you are a Star Wars fan, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us what you like about Star Wars.
Some of the movies are actually pretty amazing.
They are. That's what I've heard as well. Tell me what movies are amazing.
The Force Awakens, the Return to the Jedi.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi. That's a good one, too.
That's all I know.
Hey, those are good ones. Those are really good choices. Now, you were dressed like Rey. That's a pretty cool costume. What do you like about Rey?
She's just really adventurous, and she likes to do a lot of stuff that she knew she can't do, but she tries.
Oh, that's a very good point. That's a good lesson for kids, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And who is this young little boy who's next to you?
My baby cousin Mason that is 4 years old.
Say hi.
He got mask if you look cute.
Oh, okay, so Mason is, of course, our special junior correspondent, and also my son, as I've talked about many times over the last 4 years. Mason, are you excited to be here, buddy?
Yeah.
Mason has a Kylo Ren mask on, so he might be difficult to understand, but that's okay.
He's actually really cute without his mask.
That's true, thank you. It's true. Who's your favorite Star Wars character besides Kylo Ren? Darth Vader. What, do you know his song? Remember we listened to it in the car today? Can you go get your lightsaber and make the noise so we can hear what it sounds like? It's right behind you, right over there. Who is your favorite besides Rey?
My favorite Princess Leia.
Oh, that's a good choice. How come?
Because they're girls like me.
Let's hear it for these two. Okay, we are still queuing up the demonstration for coding, and that's okay because we've got plenty of Star Wars news to share. Now, yesterday and this weekend is New York Comic-Con 2017, something I think Coffee with Kenobi is going to have to venture to sometime in the very near future. The big news, and I'm not even sure if you know about some of this, but did you know there is going to be a new Thrawn book?
I did see that.
Okay, so...
Actually, I saw it from Corey Clubb posted, and I saw that he said interesting.
Yes, I love that guy. He's, of course, our co-creator and former co-host. Now, the Thrawn book is written by Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn is no stranger to Star Wars fans. He is the guy that created the Heir to the Empire series in the mid-90s. He pretty much brought Star Wars out of darkness into popular culture because there were new Star Wars stories. They were part of the Legends line, expanded universe at the time. Now, the Thrawn book came out earlier this year, and it was a huge success. It came out in April, because that was when Star Wars Celebration Orlando was. And it's a compelling book. It tells the story of Thrawn, the canonical story of Thrawn, how he rises up the ranks of the Empire. Did you get the chance to read Thrawn?
I did not, but I'm waiting for you to do it as a book talk on the show Coffee with Kenobi.
Oh, wow. That's very subtle. Well, you might be waiting a long time because we're going through Leia, Princess of Alderaan right now. And thank you for the plug. What we're doing on the show, because there are so many Star Wars books out there to enjoy, what we're doing is we're reading a few chapters at a time and discussing them each week on the show, which I know you're listening to, right? Oh, good boy. Good. That's good. That's a good answer. And it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. So we're trying to go through some of the new books because it takes a long time to get through these. We're very busy, have busy lives. These are one of the things we're doing. So the Thrawn book is great. It's very much shows. It's interesting how they portray him because he's portrayed very much not like a bad guy, but more just like somebody who has a mission and a plan. He's one step ahead.
So for someone who hasn't read the Thrawn book yet, and I know you're not giving out spoilers here, but I'm curious on the time period. Now that he's in the canon, is it the Rebels time period or pre-Rebels time period for that?
It's how he gets recruited into the Empire and how he rises up the ranks. So it's right before Rebels. It's right before Rebels, around the time period before he's on that show. So they show him go from a cadet to Grand Admiral, and his relationship with the Emperor and the Empire itself, and just how it's really cool to see how his mind works. He's always one or two steps ahead.
Always, and that's what he's known for. Well,
exactly.
And his brutality, I guess.
So the thing that's cool about this, the sequel, is coming in summer of 2018, and it's called Thrawn Alliances. Now, that's a big deal in and of itself, but the really big deal is he says he's bringing someone with him, Darth Vader. So this whole book is going to be like a buddy cop movie of Darth Vader and Thrawn. That is compelling.
Wow. Yeah, when I saw the title, I did not see the note about who he's bringing with. I saw the note of Thrawn Alliances, and so a lot of names, of course, come to mind when I think of the potential alliances, but wow, Vader, that's going to be big.
It's huge. One of the reasons it's huge is when I was reading the first one, I thought, I love how Timothy Zahn writes. It would be great to see his characterization of Vader. We're going to see that. But that is not the only news that's come out of New York Comic-Con thus far. Another thing that's come out is we're going to get a brand new comic book, and when my niece was on here, she loves Leia and Rey because they're girls like her, and that's awesome. There are millions and millions of Star Wars fans that are female and male, and so now that we're actually getting stuff for both of them consistently, and it's top-notch caliber entertainment is an awesome thing. So there is a new 5-issue Star Wars comic book miniseries based on Forces of Destiny. And I'm trying to open up, but the Wi-Fi here is not letting me do that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
It does happen.
But I'll tell you, the Forces of Destiny has been a real impacting story for Star Wars. Just so many people like it. They've got the action figure line of dolls that go along with that. They have the mini shows, and I heard you on the show the other day talking about the half-hour special where they kind of brought all of those stories together, and how wonderful that is. And so a comic book is only going to increase that legend of Forces of Destiny.
Exactly. So we have some details on the creative teams that are going to be on this, and this is right from New York Comic Con. And thankfully, we have Matt Moore and Jeff McGee, who host Comics with Kenobi.
Great show.
And it's because of them that we find out everything that's going on in the world of comic books and Star Wars, because these guys, they're the best. They're the absolute best. So as I scroll through their Twitter feed, I realize we've got artists like Ariana Florman, writers such as Jody Hauser, Delia Dawson, Beth Revis, and we've got some really, really big names that are going to be a part of this. Devin Grayson, and the art that they show here is a picture of Leia on the Tauntaun, exclusive to Entertainment Weekly. So it's going to be really cool. I mean, again, more Star Wars is good, and more Forces of Destiny is good, and we're appealing to everybody who loves Star Wars. There's no exclusion. We are a welcoming community that brings in everybody, every age, every gender. It's amazing. It's the way it should be.
Absolutely, and this is great news. And I'm looking to see, is this going to be a Marvel published or ID? It looks like IDW.
It's IDW. That's right.
Fantastic.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with more story. Now I know you like to say the story needs to be relevant. It needs to drive, add something to the bigger picture. And I've not been disappointed in their ability to continue to do that. And I'm sure the Forces of Destiny stories will just continue to fill in those little areas that explain and give us a little bit more background to make the characters continue to be rich and full.
Okay, well that is very
like that?
That's gregarious of you. Yes, I do like it. I still maintain that if you're going to tell a story, it better be a story worth telling. Don't just put stuff out there to sell books or to create buzz. It has to be something that's important and adds to the mythology of the series. So if they do that, then I'm all in. Now
we're going to talk about these now.
We're going to talk about these now. So speaking of all in, New York Comic Con, my favorite news so far is we have Mighty Mugs coming back.
Yes.
Mighty Mugs, for those of you who may not be aware of them, they basically were Funko Pops before Funko Pops, but they're now bobbleheads. And if you've ever been in my classroom, I have an Indiana Jones one on the shelf in the back of the classroom. But they're coming out with brand new ones. They announced them. We're going to have Rey, Kylo Ren, Vader, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia. And what's interesting about this is that not only are they cute and little, but they have 3 different facial expressions. So you've got a happy one, you've got a grumpy one, and you've got a serious one. And they're adorable.
Yeah, even the ones that are mad and grumpy are pretty darn adorable.
You can go to StarWars.com or through coffeewithkenobi.com. But the ones of Rey, when she's serious, are really fun. The one of Kylo is hilarious because his serious face and his mad face are pretty much almost the same thing.
Yeah, just teeth, no teeth.
Yeah, he's a serious dude. So we're definitely looking forward to those. They're going to retail at $9.99, which is really good. So it's going to be an affordable collectible. And we're looking forward to it. It says they've currently got 50 figures planned across various licenses. They're not all Star Wars because they are going to encompass a lot of different genres and fields. But the first wave's coming out in January 2018, just in time to spend your Christmas money.
Hey, great timing.
All right, so last story that we're going to talk about before we move on to something else is there recently was a list of the 100 best screenwriters of all time. And this is a group of working screenwriters at Vulture.com. And they came up with a list of their 100 best screenwriters of all time. And George Lucas got to number 16. Now, before I read the press release, tell me what you think about that.
I'm wrapping my brain around this. Top, was it 100 you said?
Top 100.
And this is all screenwriters complete. That's, you know what? In the history of film, 16, that's pretty darn good.
It's great you're avoiding the question, though.
What was your question?
Do you think George Lucas deserves that? I'm putting on the spot. Before you answer, I'm going to read this. Dialogue isn't everything. For proof, look no further than the career of George Lucas, for whom human speech has served as an occasional stumbling block. Alec Guinness spent the bulk of his time on Star Wars complaining that his lines were rubbish, while Harrison Ford famously told Lucas, "You can type this," expletive, "but you can't say it." No matter. A few clunky lines didn't stop Lucas from dreaming up one of the most alluring and enduring universes in the history of cinema. And marrying the aesthetics of the pulp series of his youth to formal lessons gleaned from Joseph Campbell, he quite literally created the template for 40-plus years of blockbuster. But his legacy isn't limited to space opera. The man also created American Graffiti, and you'll weep at the talent, says Andrea Berlov. Star Wars created this. George Lucas created this McConnell, right? So the dialogue may be choppy at times, but he created the story, he created the characters, he created the scenes and the settings. He made all of this possible because of his screenwriting. So I think that is how he fits beautifully into this. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, you know, when as you're reading through that, it kind of followed my exact thought process of, screenwriting, dialogue, that has always been a criticism from the original trilogy. Alec Guinness, I'm not surprised, you know, when you think of some of the scripts that he's probably worked with. But sometimes I have a hard time separating the difference between the screenwriting and the story. The story, masterful. You know, it's a great mythology, all parts of that. But then you look at screenwriting itself, the bits and pieces of the lines, and they do leave a bit to be desired. But that's part of the lore. That's part of the legend of Star Wars is how you could take something like that and make something so great. And it was the special effects in 1977 that really turned people on to Star Wars. It's something we'd never seen before.
It made a huge impact. 40 years, the great modern mythology of our time. I think that's very fair to say. And when I look back at the dialogue of A New Hope, I don't really feel like it's anything but strong. And I'm incredibly, ridiculously, obnoxiously biased. I grant you that. But it is, I don't know, it's something we grew up with. It's the zeitgeist of our memories. All right. Well, Tom, I'm sure you're very busy. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, let's get up for Tom for arranging all this here for Star Wars Reads Day.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Should we do some drawings? I think we should do some drawings.
Yeah, let's do some drawings.
All right.
Who wants to win a prize? All right, Tom is going to draw some.
Yeah, we're gonna grab some orange tickets here. We've got some special prizes. Though the orange tickets are your door prizes, but we have some special door prizes to give away today. I've got Vanessa's running to the front to make sure that we've got the newest of the orange tickets. We're going to give away, our caricature artist, J.M. Hunter, has here a piece that he has donated. It's a piece of original art, framed art of BB-8 that we're going to be drawing for, as well as we're going to give away a Black Series Snowtrooper here. And then Coffee With Kenobi has brought with I'm trying to think what it doesn't say what it is on the back. It is a Blade Builder set, and so this is donated by Coffee With Kenobi. So I've got a few things here to give away. We're also then, after we give these items away with the orange tickets, then we're going to do another round of the pink tickets. Those are the ones you're dropping in the buckets for the prizes. Coffee With Kenobi will return right after that, but also I have Lily Harlan here from the WCHS girls basketball team who will be reading over in the kids area in just a few minutes, so we'll get with that in just a moment. So, what should we give away first, Mr. Zare?
Well, let's give away the Blade Builders. Let's do this right out the gate.
Let's go big.
That's what Han Solo would do.
Blade Builders. All right, so this is orange tickets. Last four digits of orange ticket, 8255. Over there in the craft area, you're checking your tickets, 8255 in your orange tickets. We have a winner right here.
Congratulations.
All right. Well done. You've won the Blade Builder set. All right, now. Don't go hitting all your brothers and sisters with that now. Okay.
That's good advice.
All right. Vanessa, we're going to do a couple more over here. So we're going to do the Black Series Snowtrooper action figure here. And so we have ticket, orange ticket, 8289. 8289. I see people flipping through their tickets. We've got a winner right over here. Come on over and claim your Snowtrooper Black Series action figure.
Congratulations, that's a rare one. Hardly anybody claps. Listen to all that sour grapes out there. Come on, let's hear it.
There you go. All right. Woo-hoo. Looks like Dan's got his next guest all ready to roll. And I'm going to turn it back to Coffee with Kenobi.
All right, thank you, Tom. I am here with one of my favorite people. Not only is he fun to talk to, but he's really fun to mess with. And this is Zak Kalina, the owner of Zeke's Comics and Games. Welcome back to the show.
So glad to be here.
I am glad. Zach, by the way, here's a little spoiler. He's going to be hosting the show in a couple of weeks.
I am now.
That's going to be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only had to remind you, 18 times?
Well, I do run a business, so...
Oh, well, here we go. See, I told you this was going to be fun. All right, so, Zach, tell us about your Star Wars fandom, where it all started and how you got to this point.
Well, it's an interesting story. My dad first introduced me to A New Hope, but he's never seen anything besides New Hope. And he refuses to watch anything besides New Hope. But he didn't realize that when they showed me that movie that I was going to demand to go to Walmart at, 8 years old to buy as many action figures as I possibly could. Because I was enthralled by it. Fast forward through the years, it's just been something that from novels to comic books to video games, I can't even describe the amount of things I'm into as far as Star Wars is concerned.
Absolutely. I think we can all definitely share that sentiment. Now, you obviously own Zeke's Comics and Games, an amazing place full of just about anything you could ever want from fandom, and one of my favorite places to go, for sure. Now, since you're an expert in this, both as a fan and as a businessman, what makes a good Star Wars comic? Now it's already out there now, but for you, what makes, when you pick it and say, this is a good Star Wars comic?
I like well-told, I don't want to say simplified, stories that matter. I appreciate reading a book that can it develop a storyline, can it give me something different. And any medium, as far as comics or novels are concerned, when you read something and it's not doing anything extra other than telling you something you want to learn something new. You want to have characters expanded in ways that you don't get to see on film. And for Star Wars, I'm a big Darth Vader fan, and for even the current book, it still develops him outside of what we know in the movies. You get to see him be frustrated, and he's coping with being Vader. And so something that just kind of creates a need to read it.
Right, and that's not easy to do because you've got 40 years of lore and you can't interfere with what happens in the films. So you got to be precise. Kieran Gillen did an amazing job in the original Star Wars series, and now we've got a brand new series that you just mentioned.
So Darth Vader, when it was canceled, the first one. It wasn't canceled. It ended. Excuse me.
That's a big difference.
Big difference. The first Vader book was phenomenal, and it ended. There was an obvious demand for it to not end, so they brought it back and did more of a prequel storyline, which gives you a little bit more freedom as far as what Vader's doing in between after the Jedi Purge and all the way into New Hope, similar to the Rebels TV show. I think that anything in between 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and anything in between after that, it's a little harder for them to develop because the movies are not finished yet.
Very true, very true. But it still it's got a very cold, frightening side of Vader. Issue number 4 is what I'm thinking of. But it's definitely worth checking out. But it's not for our younger fans, that's for sure. However, comic books are so wonderful because they encompass a wide variety of genres, a wide variety of ages of appeal. So, to you, since this is Star Wars Reads Day, the most important thing about this is that it promotes literacy. It promotes reading, which is a very, very important thing, very near and dear to my heart, both as a parent and as an educator. So for you, how do comic books encourage and promote literacy?
Comic books are for all ages, and it's something that I constantly promote in the store, that you're never too young to start reading. And that's the best part about a visual medium as comic books. your younger kids can pick up the book and still have an idea of what's happening even if they can't read. But it causes them to start critically thinking at that age to develop, okay, they're moving around, they're swinging a lightsaber, they're, and it doesn't matter if it's superheroes, it's Star Wars. But it gets them engaged because you hope that if you start reading a comic, then you'll start reading a young adult novels, and then you branch to big novels, and it just causes a development, I guess I would say.
Yes. It's a gateway to a whole new world.
Right.
That's very Disney sounding, but it's true.
It is a gateway.
And I like to use the buzzword critical thinking. That is a huge part of what we do here at WCHS. It's a huge part of what we do in my classroom and on this show. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Now, what are some of your favorite comic books? I'm not talking about Star Wars, although you can obviously mention you mentioned it, but just in general, what are some of your favorite current titles that are out now?
I would have to say the current DC Rebirth run and Marvel's Legacy have been, I don't want to say simplified, but it's a lot easier to pick up the books and be engaged with characters. I'm a very big fan of Batman. Most people that know me know that's my go-to.
This is true.
I never get tired of it. I'm the most critical person when it comes to it. Well, yeah, it's okay. But I'm a big fan of Detective Comics, and I think that Superman in Action Comics right now, it's the best it's been probably 10 years, and that's from a lot of people.
What is it that's going on in those current titles for people who are not reading them that maybe will make them say, I got to go to Zeke's and pick these up? See what I did there?
I see that. With Batman, he has such a huge supporting cast, so when you're reading Detective Comics and he has 7 or 8 characters that you can experience and get to know over the top of him, that makes it enjoyable because he has such a huge, network of people. The Superman and Action comic books are massive because it brings Superman back to the basics. He's all about still saving people. He's not, he has his darker elements, but Superman's, the big blue Boy Scout. He's got to be the happy guy. So I think the Superman books keep Superman in Action Comics it's one of the most high quality books they have out there. The artists are great, the stories are great.
Do you already put one in the bucket? Because we don't want to keep the one.
Yeah, we kept the one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we're doing some family household maintenance. All right, well said. Yeah, Superman, we have this debate in my classroom where people say you can't like Superman and Batman at the same time, and I say that it's not correct. They're both wonderful, and they're both appealing for very, very different reasons, but at its core, they're both heroes and people that continually make sacrifice for the greater good. And that is certainly what I want my kids to think about and what I want my students to think out of this. So it's a mythology. We put in our stories what we value as a culture, and I think you encapsulate that really well.
I think both characters, they're so diverse, but they're relatable for completely different reasons. Tragedy is something that everybody can relate to, especially as you get older. So Batman's a character that, as you get older, you can respect because the things that he copes and deals with, it's stuff that as an adult, you're going to deal with in a lot of ways, unfortunately, or people who deal with it. So he's relatable. And so are a lot of his villains and the things that they are because they're caused for the same reasons. Superman, when you're younger, and even as you're older, you can appreciate a good-hearted person. They call him the Big Blue Boy Scout for multiple reasons, but that's not a bad thing. You can aspire to be that character. Kids can enjoy to look up to that person, someone who's strong-willed, who's tough, who can handle every situation. You respect that, and it's easy for kids to look up to that character for both reasons.
Right. No, I agree. And there's certainly a lot we could go into with that. But before I let you go, I'm going to get you out of here on this. Is Aquaman cool?
Aquaman's always been cool.
Good answer. Why?
People tease Aquaman all the time, and if you really think about it, you have a guy here who has the strength of Superman, who runs a kingdom, who doesn't want to run a kingdom, because he's half human and half Atlantean. But he can control.
SMI, by the way. I think this would be a good place to reveal that.
But he can control the entire sea. Every creature that can be ever created in fictional or non-fiction sea creatures, he can summon it. You can knock him for a lot of things, but he's a very compelling character.
And he's got the heart of a warrior, and he's not anything but he's very tough. He's very powerful. He's very strong-willed. I think he's a lot more dynamic and more barbaric. Barbaric probably is the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
No, it's
the tone, I think. And I think you get that stigma because of the Super Friends cartoons, which, by the way, I introduced my son to recently. And I still think they're cool. I think Aquaman's cool in that. Well, I think it's because he talks to fish and they give him a hard time. But who would not honestly want to talk to fish? What do you think your goldfish would say? I think it'd be cool.
Hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know, the best thing about comics is that they always change. They're always different. You can always add new elements to characters, and that's one of the best parts about them. Is if something's not working, you can change it. You can change an origin. You can move things around. You can do different things. And there's so many variations of characters. There's no true definitive version.
Right. Okay. Well, so hey, thank you, Zach, so much for being on Coffee with Kenobi again. We look forward to chatting with you very soon.
Absolutely.
Let's hear it for Zach, everybody. All right, so we're getting close to time wrapping up, but I did promise a couple of people that would have them come here on the microphone. So first I'm going to embarrass my brother. So Sean, come on down, buddy. I won't embarrass him. I'm very nice.
Are you going to bring Kayleigh back on?
Yes.
In a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
And Sean, you were on for The Force Awakens, right? You were on when we first saw The Force Awakens. You were part of the post review of that, right?
I was.
Were you on any other shows? Was that it?
That was it.
I think that was it. So, you are obviously a dad and you're a long-time Star Wars fan. And from a different way, you're more of a casual fan, but you grew up absolutely loving this. You're wearing a Star Wars shirt now, and you brought your family out to Star Wars Reads Day. What does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars to me reminds me of family. It just reminds me of growing up as a kid and playing with you, Dan, which play with our characters and the big characters that we had. And my biggest memory is probably going to Empire Strikes Back a lot and thinking, is this the one where Han's in the frozen carnival?
Yeah, is this the one where he gets where they save him, where he's free? I vividly remember walking into a restaurant and you saying, is this one where they're free on sale? And, no, it's the same movie. But hey, who among us didn't feel that way? You wanted him to be free. So now we move into a new generation, and you've shown your daughter The Force Awakens, and it's got to be cool to show her a brand new Star Wars film, because you can both experience it in different ways. But what is that like for her, and how does she feel about the movie?
Elizabeth loves it because it seems like the characters now are her females, which she really enjoys, and she's not scared, which is fun, and it's just fun for me as a dad to just show her the things that I grew up loving.
I agree, and Kylo Ren's super cool.
He is very cool.
Love his voice and everything about
Until
him.
he takes his mask off.
Well, that's okay. There now, some people really, really like good old Adam Driver. But yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a reflection of how cool the mask is.
That's true.
And that amazing voice that booms through there. Very good. So, I promise you I wouldn't embarrass you, but I'm going to ask you one Star Wars question. And I think I found one that's a lamp for you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Now we're going to have Will Crouch come on. All right, the question is, this is from the newer version of Star Wars Trivial Pursuit from Hasbro. It is, which item of Luke's does Darth Vader present to the Emperor in Return of the Jedi?
His lightsaber.
You got it, sir. Congratulations. See, I told you would nail this. Hey, thanks for being on again, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Let's hear from my brother Sean, everybody. Everybody's so busy playing games, that's why. All right, now I'm going to bring on a WCHS student who I have not had the pleasure of teaching just yet, but hopefully when he's a senior. But this is Mr. Will Crouch, a very, very talented guy in a lot of areas, and you are a huge Star Wars fan, aren't you?
That is correct.
And earlier you didn't hear because we weren't recording that, but he was reading. We have a Star Wars reading time where different students in the student body are reading books to the kids. And you did a great Tom King impression.
Thank you very much, because I just remember watching Clone Wars when I was like about their age now, and I just remember the intro. It's War, the Clone Wars is ongoing and forever. It's like
exactly, and Tom has actually provided a lot of sound clips for the show, so it's possible you might just hear your impression.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, no pressure. All right, so we're going to ask you a Star Wars Trivial Pursuit question, and I know you're a huge fan, and I have no idea what I'm going to pick. I'll tell you what, you pick a color, blue, red, yellow, purple, green, orange. It would probably help if I told you what the categories were,
yeah,
but I don't have the list, so I'm not going to.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So, I'll just go with orange, yeah.
Orange, all right. So orange is, how much older is Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope than he is in The Phantom Menace? 22, 32, or 42?
How many years older?
How much older is Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope than he is in The Phantom Menace? 22, 32, or 42? So you got to think about The Phantom Menace, where he is, Anakin as a boy, then all the way to A New Hope when Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the desert.
Okay, well, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, that's about 19 years, so it wouldn't be 22.
I like what this is going.
Phantom Menace, and the gap between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones is about 10 years. So that'd be 10. And then the Clone Wars lasted 3 years, 23. Plus, we need a calculator on this show.
We do, and I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher.
Okay, so 20...
Search your feelings. You know it's to be true.
Will. Use the force, will. I have to say, would it be 32?
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
Well done. I like a lot of you, and I'm impressed that you knew the timeline because, yes, there's a 10-year gap between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. The Clone Wars is 3 years, and then you've got 19 years to A New Hope, and then between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, there's 3 years. You know how much time is between Empire and Jedi?
Empire and Jedi, huh? I feel like that would be about 6 months, or would that be?
I think it's about a year.
A year?
And then between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens is...
About 30, yeah.
years. Well, I am impressed, dude. If you're auditioning to be a guest host, I think you passed the audition. Let's hear it for Will Crouch.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Have a good day.
All right, so before we wrap this up, Kayleigh has been working away on coding, and that meowing you're hearing has been the coding. So, Kayleigh, tell us what's going on here, if you would.
So we've coded the cat to meow every time it touches the robot, and every time it touches the robot, then it just stops the game. And we also programmed it to have the robot go even faster every time it hits the beach ball. It'll go faster, and then every time the cat gets the ball, then we've made a cat score up in the corner, and it keeps track of your score. And so right now...
So basically what you said earlier is it's not just about Star Wars characters, it's just about learning how to code. And that's exactly what you've done here. I mean, and you can't, obviously listening to the show, you can't see it, but on our monitors here, it looks really cool. You've got the ball, the cat, and the robot, and it's around a blue board, basically, with a bunch of layers. So it looks really cool. Good job.
Thanks.
So if for someone like me, or someone who doesn't know how to code, is there a certain website you go to, or program, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's a website, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a website, and then you make a profile, and then you save it every time, and then up in
Yeah, it helps on a podcast you talk in the microphone. There you go.
Just minimize the screen.
We're figuring out how to get a little more detail about this in the coding, how the process works.
Over in the right-hand corner, you can just log out right there. Right, yeah, it's pulled down right there. And
I'll describe for the audience what we're seeing. That in the top left, you can see the image that we talked about before, and on the right, which is much bigger, there's a number of keywords and phrases in different colors that I'm assuming you type in and add, and that makes the program come to life. And you click and drag sort of thing. So it's cool, and I think it's fair to say, Kayleigh, and let me know if you agree, that this book is really, really easy to follow and fun to use, and it makes you do a lot of cool stuff with your computer, yes?
yeah, it even helps to know a little bit of coding, but if you don't know anything about coding, it explains it to you.
Well, hey, Kayleigh, thank you so much for the demonstration and being on the show. Thank you so much. Let's hear for Kayleigh. Very good. Well, that is it. Is there anyone in the audience who has a Star Wars question or a comment that they'd like to share before we sign off? Now, in my classroom, if I ask a question and I don't say a word, people are so uncomfortable with silence that eventually somebody raises their hand. So, it could probably work here too. But we won't do that to you. Is it no questions? we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you so much to everybody for coming to Star Wars Reads Day here at Washington Community High School. And be sure to check out Coffee with Kenobi on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on our website, www.coffeewithkenobi.com. It's a weekly show where we discuss Star Wars in a whole new way, from a place of intelligence and humor. The goal is to make you think and to make you laugh. Thank you again so much, and have a great Star Wars Reads Day, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.